Hello and welcome to Quiz Class. My name's Ellis and I'll be your host for today's quiz, which is trivia aimed for baby boomers. We've got 100 questions in this quiz and we'd love you to let us know at the end of the video how you did in the comments. You can let us know how you rank based on these Quiz Class awards from Champion to Explorer. Today's lineup of questions, we have got food and drink, politics, inventions, literature, travel destinations and board games. And we're going to start today's quiz with some questions on food and drink. We're going to get started with question 1. Good luck! At the Trader Vic's restaurant, which popular cocktail was created? Daiquiri, Margarita, or Mai Tai? The answer is Mai Tai. Question 2. The blank musubi was made with what main ingredient? Seaweed, spam, or rice? The answer is spam. Question 3. Which cheese is traditionally used in a classic French onion soup? Brie, Roquefort, or Gruyere? The answer is Gruyere. 4. What is the primary flavouring ingredient in the liqueur Frangelico? Pistachios, walnuts, or hazelnuts? The answer is hazelnuts. Question 5. Which fruit is the main ingredient in the British dessert fool? Gooseberries, raspberries, or blackberries? The answer is gooseberries. Question 6. Which cocktail popularised in the 1950s is made with rum, coconut cream, and pineapple juice? Mai Tai, daiquiri, or pina colada? The answer is pina colada. What classic dish features layers of meat, potatoes, and vegetables, often associated with comfort food in the mid-20th century? Shepherd's pie, beef stroganoff, or moussaka? The answer is moussaka. Hope you're keeping up so far. That was question 7. On to question 8. Which popular snack food introduced in the 1960s is made from corn and often enjoyed at parties? Potato chips, pretzels, or cheese puffs? You don't need to have a party for me to enjoy them. The answer is cheese puffs. Question 9. What was the primary ingredient in the famous Jell-O salad that often featured fruits and nuts in many baby boomer households? Sugar, whipped cream, or gelatin? The Jell-O part should give you a clue. The answer is gelatin. Which popular frozen dessert became a staple in many households during the 1970s and is known for its creamy texture and variety of flavours? Ice cream, gelato, or sorbet? The answer is ice cream. What ingredient is traditionally used to make a classic Waldorf salad, a dish that gained popularity in the early 20th century? Grapes, oranges, or apples? The answer is apples. Question 12. Which soft drink created in the late 19th century but popularised in the 1950s was marketed as a health tonic? Coca-Cola, root beer, or Dr. Pepper? The answer is Dr. Pepper. What type of pasta became a household favourite during the Italian-American cooking boom of the 1960s and 70s? Was it penne, spaghetti, or fettuccine? The answer is fettuccine. Question 14. Which candy bar, introduced in the 1930s but gaining immense popularity post-World War II, features nougat and caramel coated in chocolate? Twix, Snickers, or Milky Way? The answer is Milky Way. 15. What is the main ingredient in a traditional Caesar salad dressing that became a staple in American restaurants during the 1970s? Olive oil, anchovies, or vinegar? The main ingredient in a traditional Caesar salad is anchovies. Which kitchen appliance became essential for many households during the 1970s for making quick meals and snacks? Microwave oven, food processor, or toaster oven? The answer is a microwave oven. What type of bread is traditionally used to make a Reuben sandwich, which became popular in delis across America? Sourdough, white, or rye? The answer is rye. Question 18. What was the primary flavouring ingredient in the beloved cocktail Grasshopper, which gained popularity in mid-century America? Chocolate, vanilla, or creme de menthe? The answer is creme de menthe. 19. Which vegetable dish became a staple side at holiday dinners during the 1960s and is often made with green beans and cream of mushroom soup? Green bean casserole, coleslaw, or spinach salad? The answer is green bean casserole. 20. What type of cheese is traditionally used on a classic cheeseburger that became an American icon after World War II? Swiss, cheddar, or American cheese? The correct answer is American cheese. And that concludes our food and drink section. We're now moving on to questions on politics. Which presidential candidate famously said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country"? Was that Dwight D. Eisenhower, Lyndon B. Johnson, or John F. Kennedy? The answer is John F. Kennedy. 22. Who was the first female vice presidential candidate on a major party ticket? Hillary Clinton, Geraldine Ferraro, or Elizabeth Warren? The answer is Geraldine Ferraro. Which political leader was known for the phrase "Ich bin ein Berliner"? Was it Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, or John F. Kennedy? The answer is John F. Kennedy. Question 24. What was the name of the anti-war movement that gained prominence during the Vietnam War era? Was it New Left, Peace Corps, or Counterculture? The correct answer, Counterculture. Who was the first African American to be appointed to the US Supreme Court? Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Clarence Thomas, or Thurgood Marshall? Who was the first African American to be appointed to the US Supreme Court? The answer is Thurgood Marshall. What was the name of the 1972 Arms Limitation Treaty between the US and Soviet Union? INF Treaty, START, or SALT I? The answer is SALT I. What was the name of the political ideology promoted by Barry Goldwater in the 1964 presidential election? Conservatism, New Liberalism, or Progressivism? The answer is Conservatism. What was the name of the 1968 report that examined the causes of racial unrest in American cities? Warren Commission, Kerner Commission, or Church Committee? The answer is Kerner Commission. Which political leader was known for the phrase, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall"? Was that Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, or Ronald Reagan? The answer is Ronald Reagan. Question 30. What was the name of the 1965 immigration law that eliminated national origin quotas? Dream Act, Hart-Celler Act, or Refugee Act? The answer is Hart-Celler Act. Which political movement of the 1960s advocated for women's rights and gender equality? Anti-war movement, civil rights movement, or second wave feminism? The correct answer is second wave feminism. 32. What was the name of the 1964 resolution that gave the president broad war powers in Southeast Asia? Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, Southeast Asia Treaty, or War Powers Resolution? The answer is Gulf of Tonkin Resolution. Which political philosophy advocated for increased government control over the economy and social programs? Libertarianism, conservatism, or the Great Society? The correct answer is the Great Society. 34. Which economic policy popular in the 1980s emphasised tax cuts and reduced government spending? Was it supply-side economics, modern monetary theory, or New Deal economics? The answer is supply-side economics. What was the name of the 1965 programme that introduced health insurance for elderly Americans? Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security? The answer is Medicare. What major social programme was established in 1965 to provide health coverage for low-income Americans? Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare? The answer is Medicaid. Question 37. How did the Voting Rights Act of 1965 change electoral participation in the United States? Instituted compulsory voting, lowered voting age, or banned discriminatory voting practices? The answer is banned discriminatory voting practices. What was the primary focus of the Silent Spring book that influenced environmental policy? Nuclear waste, urban pollution, or pesticide use? The answer is pesticide use. Question 39. Which foreign policy strategy, popular in the 1970s, sought to reduce Cold War tensions? Containment, rollback, or detent? The answer is detent or detente. Question 40. How did the Title IX Amendment to the Education Amendments of 1972 change American society? Prohibited sex discrimination, mandated school prayer, or established national curriculum? The answer is prohibited sex discrimination. Moving on now to some questions on inventions. What invention, introduced in the late 1950s, revolutionised data storage in computers? Floppy disk, USB flash drive, or hard disk drive? The answer is hard disk drive. Which communication device became a status symbol for business people in the 1980s? Pager, car phone, or cellular phone? The answer is cellular phone. 43. What portable music device, introduced in 1979, became an icon of the 1980s? Sony Walkman, Philips Walkman, or compact disc player? The answer is a Sony Walkman. What invention, popularised in the 1960s, allowed for easy correction of typing mistakes? Correction tape, liquid paper, or erasable bond paper? The answer is correction tape. That's correction tape. 45. Which space-age material developed by NASA found its way into everyday products like memory foam mattresses? Mylar, Gore-Tex, or Tempur foam? The answer is Tempur foam. Which kitchen appliance, becoming popular in the 1970s, made it easier to chop, slice, and puree foods? Immersion blender, or food processor? The answer is a food processor. What type of television, introduced in the late 1960s, offered improved picture quality over black and white sets? LED TV, LCD TV, or colour TV? The answer is colour TV. Question 48. Which writing instrument, patented in 1938 but popularised in the 1950s and 60s, replaced fountain pens for many users? Was it the ballpoint pen, the gel pen, or the rollerball pen? It was the ballpoint pen. 49. What invention, introduced in the 1950s, allowed people to make carbonated drinks at home? Juicer, SodaStream, or soda fountain? The answer is SodaStream. 50. Which contraceptive method, approved in the 1960s, gave women more control over family planning? I'll repeat that. Which contraceptive method, approved in the 1960s, gave women more control over family planning? Was it birth control pill, contraceptive patch, or diaphragm? And the answer is the birth control pill. Halfway through, here's 51. Which gaming console, released in 1972, brought video games into the home and featured the game Pong? Atari 2600, Magnavox Odyssey, or ColecoVision? The answer is Magnavox Odyssey. 52. Which hairstyling tool, popularised in the 1960s, allowed for quick drying and styling of hair? Curling iron, hot rollers, or handheld hairdryer? The answer is the handheld hairdryer. Question 53. What type of calculator, becoming widely available in the 1970s, made complex mathematical calculations easier? Slide rule, mechanical calculator, or electronic pocket calculator? The answer is the electronic pocket calculator. Which household cleaning device, popularised in the 1950s and 60s, used centrifugal force to remove water from clothes? Dryer, washing machine, or spin dryer? The answer is spin dryer. 55. What type of television remote control, introduced in the 1950s but common in the 1960s, used ultrasonic sound to change channels? Zenith Space Command, infrared remote, or radio frequency remote? The answer is Zenith Space Command. Which grooming product for men, introduced in the 1960s, offered an alternative to the traditional razor blade? Straight razor, disposable razor, or electric shaver? The answer is the electric shaver. What type of automobile safety feature, becoming mandatory in the late 1960s, significantly reduced fatalities in car accidents? Anti-lock brakes, seat belts, or airbags? The answer is seat belts. Which audio format, introduced in the mid-1960s, offered higher quality and longer playing time than vinyl records? Cassette tape, 8-track tape, or compact cassette? The answer is the compact cassette. What office machine, becoming popular in the 1960s and 1970s, allowed for the creation of copies without using ink or toner? Xerox copier, mimeograph, or thermal copier? The answer is a thermal copier. Question 60. What type of television, introduced in the late 1960s but becoming more common in the 1970s, offered a larger screen size for home viewing? Was that an LED TV, an LCD TV, or a projection TV? The answer is projection TV. And forget your inventions, because we're moving away from that and going into the topic of literature. Which novel by Joseph Heller coined the term Catch-22? Was it Catch-22? Was it The Catcher in the Rye? Or was it Slaughterhouse-5? Unsurprisingly, the answer is Catch-22. What is the name of the fictional town in which many of John Updike's rabbit novels are set? Hanover, Eastwick, or Brewer? The answer is Brewer. Question 63. What is the name of the protagonist in Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man? Narrator is unnamed, Jim Trueblood, or Bigger Thomas? And the answer is narrator is unnamed. 64. In To Kill a Mockingbird, what is the name of Scout and Jem's reclusive neighbour? Bob Ewell, Tom Robinson, or Boo Radley? The answer is Boo Radley. Which classic dystopian novel features the slogan, "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength"? Is that 1984, Brave New World, or Fahrenheit 451? The answer is 1984. What is the name of the fictional town in which 100 Years of Solitude is set? Macondo or Kamala? The answer is Macondo. Which Beat Generation novel begins with the line, "I first met Dean not long after my wife and I split up"? Is it On the Road, Howl, or The Dharma Bums? The answer is On the Road. Question 68. In One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, what is the nickname of the oppressive head nurse? Big Nurse, Nurse Ratched, or Big Sister? The nickname is Big Nurse. 69. What is the name of the totalitarian regime in The Handmaid's Tale? Oceania, Gilead, or The Party? The answer is Gilead. Question 70. In Lord of the Flies, what object do the boys use to call assemblies? A horn, a conch shell, or a bell? The answer is a conch shell. In A Confederacy of Dunces, what is the name of Ignatius J. Riley's long-suffering mother? Marna, Irene, or Darlene? The answer is Irene. 72. What is the profession of Seymour Glass in J.D. Salinger's A Perfect Day for Banana Fish? Writer, soldier on leave, or psychiatrist? The answer is Soldier on Leave. Question 73. In Beloved, what is the name of the plantation from which Seth escapes? 12 Oaks, Sweet Home, or Tara? The answer is Sweet Home. What is the name of the fictional New England town where many of John Cheever's stories are set? Winesburg, Eastwick, or Shady Hill? The answer is Shady Hill. 75. In The Colour Purple, what craft does Celie learn that eventually leads to her financial independence? Basket weaving, cooking, or sewing pants? The answer is sewing pants. What is the name of the exclusive prep school in A Separate Piece? Welton Academy, Pensy Prep, or Devon School? In A Separate Piece, the exclusive prep school is called Devon School. In Breakfast of Champions, what is the profession of Dwayne Hoover before his mental breakdown? Restaurant owner, car salesman, or Pontiac dealer? The answer is Pontiac dealer. Question 78. What is the profession of Moses Herzog in the novel Herzog? Doctor, lawyer, or professor? The answer is professor. In The Crying of Lot 49, what is the name of the mysterious underground postal system? The Invisible Network, Tristero, or the Secret Post? The correct answer? Tristero. Question 80. In Gravity's Rainbow, what type of weapon is central to the plot? Atomic bomb, V2 rocket, or biological weapon? The answer is V2 rocket. So put down those books and let's move away from literature, as it's time for some questions on travel and destination. Which famous route in the United States was known as the Mother Road? Blue Ridge Parkway, Pacific Coast Highway, or Route 66? The answer is Route 66. Question 82. What was the name of the famous ocean liner that competed with the Titanic for transatlantic crossings? Lusitania, Queen Mary, or Mauretania? The correct answer is Mauretania. 83. Which European city was divided by a wall during much of the Cold War era? Berlin, Prague, or Vienna? And 1989 saw the fall of that wall. The answer is Berlin. What is the name of the famous Las Vegas hotel and casino that was a favourite of the Rat Pack? The Sands, the Dunes, or the Flamingo? The answer is the Sands. Which Caribbean island was a popular vacation spot for Ernest Hemingway? Which Caribbean island was a popular vacation spot for Ernest Hemingway? Is the answer Barbados, Jamaica, or Cuba? The answer is Cuba. What was the name of the first Disneyland theme park outside of the United States? Was it Tokyo Disneyland? Was it Disneyland Paris? Or was it Hong Kong Disneyland? The answer is Tokyo Disneyland. Which famous New York City hotel was featured in the film The Way We Were? Waldorf Astoria, the St. Regis, or the Plaza? The answer is the Plaza. What was the primary mode of transatlantic travel before the widespread use of commercial jet aircraft? Propeller planes, ocean liners, or helicopters? The answer is ocean liners. Question 89. Which Mediterranean island was a popular filming location for many Hollywood movies in the 1950s and 60s? Malta, Capri, or Corsica? The answer is Capri. And question 90. What was the name of the famous New York City nightclub frequented by Andy Warhol and other celebrities in the 1970s? Paradise Garage, The Limelight, or Studio 54? The answer is Studio 54. Last 10 questions are all about board games, starting with 91. In the original Monopoly game, which property was the most expensive? Park Place or Boardwalk? The answer is Boardwalk. Which classic strategy game was marketed with the slogan, "A minute to learn, a lifetime to master"? Was that Backgammon or Othello? "A minute to learn, a lifetime to master" was the slogan for Othello. In Scrabble, how many points is the letter Q worth? 10 or 8? The answer is 10. What was the name of the electronic board game that featured a talking computerized tower? Dark Tower or Speak and Spell? The answer is Dark Tower. In Risk, which continent offers the highest bonus for controlling it entirely? Asia or Europe? The answer is Asia. In the game Operation, what was the name of the character on the operating table? Was it Cavity Cam or Operation Pete? The name of the character was Cavity Cam. Which board game, popular in the 1960s and 1970s, involved players trying to create the longest word possible? Probe or Scrabble? The answer is Probe. In Trivial Pursuit, what colour represents the science and nature category? Orange or green? The answer is green. 99. What was the name of the Milton Bradley game where players tried to build a crazy contraption? Wacky Inventions or Mousetrap? The answer is Mousetrap. And 100. Which classic board game was originally called the Landlord's Game? Was that Life or Monopoly? The answer is Monopoly. And let's finish off quickly with a bonus question. In Battleship, what is the largest ship that players can place on their grid? Let us know the answer in the comments and let us know how many points you scored based on our quiz class rewards, because that is the end of our quiz. Thanks for playing. There's plenty of quizzes for you to try right now. My name's Ellis and I've been your host. We'll see you next time at Quiz Class.